And I'd like to welcome you to enemy territory. We're recording in Hollywood right
Amazing.
now. You know what I mean? In California. You know, and like I said, as someone like me who, is center right, I get in a lot of heated arguments, discussions with a lot of my family members in Hollywood, San Francisco, LA at large. Now, why do you think California is so demonized? And have you seen anything this trip that affirms or denies what you've thought of or what the conservative media looks at about California?
So people in the rest of the country think LA and California as a whole is so blue.
Right.
That it is lost and it is unsavable.
Okay, right.
Even in San Francisco, walking around and like going to restaurants or wherever the hotel I was, people were coming up and saying, Matt, like, love what you do. Can't believe you're here. Like, be safe. It is not 100% blue in LA. It's like 60%. Meaning that maybe a Republican or conservative may not win an election, but it doesn't mean that everyone is gone.
Right.
There's actually a huge community of people that have conservative values. And it's not even about politics. It's about where your values align. So it's not that LA is completely left. It's just that that's what's highlighted. I think the conservative side should spend more time in LA, actually. Okay. I think if you're a Trump fan, I think President Trump should have spent more time in California. Because maybe you can't win California, but a lot of society and a lot of media starts in California. I think it would have been a really smart move to spend more time here because those ideas do spread east.
Well, people fail to recognize Ronald Reagan was the governor of California.
Correct.
And he's basically the messiah of Republican Party for the past 20, 30 years. We also had Governor Schwarzenegger, who was also a Republican. So the argument that actually California is always all blue actually is not even true within recent history.
Correct.
So I do believe that there are all sides of the argument of the spectrum here. But when you were in San Francisco, when you're in LA, was it as run down, or did you see any crime, or did you see anything that made you think, oh God, thank God I don't live here?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh really? Yeah. So yeah.
Number one, the traffic is horrendous.
Okay, sure. Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah.
It's like the worst.
Yeah.
LA, I think LA is and San Francisco both absolutely beautiful cities.
Right.
If you don't see the homelessness.
Right.
It's a beautiful city.
Okay.
Right? Like the weather's phenomenal. You get the ocean. You get all these microclimates, which I think are fascinating.
Yeah.
If I'm in the valley, it's like hotter. If I'm up in the mountains, it's cooler. And you can shift 20 degrees depending on 10 miles.
It's a beautiful state, right?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just sad. It's just sad to see what's going on here. I spent about an hour driving around and going around Skid Row yesterday with the police. And to see the amount of people that are out there. And you can see like the communities building up within the homeless encampments.
Yeah.
And how many people are out there. And they're just living in the street. And that some of them are literally in front of businesses.
Yeah.
People who have their actual business, they're considered second-class citizens to the government here because the rights of the homeless are more important than the rights of the small business owners. That is completely backwards. They care more about the homeless than they do about the tax-paying small business owners. And always, the small business owners where they have the homeless encampments in front, they're all minority-owned businesses.
Yeah.
Why do the minority community of LA, and same in San Francisco, by the way, all the homeless encampments are in front of the Asian-owned businesses? Why do all the minority groups of LA and San Francisco vote for the Democratic policies when they are considered second-class citizens to the homeless?
Yeah, that's happened to my friend Chino Yang in San Francisco. I think I told you about the story. He has this restaurant called Kung Food, and he was hit up.
That's a great name, by the way.
Yeah, Kung Food, right?
That's a phenomenal name.
He got hit up 7 times by different criminals, and he got zero help from the police or from the government, probably because, like you said, the police were handcuffed, and there's there's not much we can do about petty crime. nowadays. So he wrote a song criticizing the mayor, London Breed. And all of a sudden, the NAACP came down on him with a ton of bricks and said, "You're being racist towards our mayor, and you better take this song down, or we're going to boycott your restaurant." And instead of trying to help this independent business owner, they tried to threaten him by limiting his freedom of speech and telling him, "You know what, you got to take this down." And it's really saddens me that, like you said, homeless people have more rights than business owners or even just individuals tax-paying individuals in our society. Now, I know you did a walk around with one of the candidates for, is it for mayor, or is Bruce?
Bruce Lowe is running for Congress, and he's running up against Nancy Pelosi.
Right? Okay, I know you love her. Who wouldn't, right?
Nancy Pelosi is literally the worst politician in the history of all America, by the way. And anyone disagrees with me, eat a dick. Like, it's factually true. Okay. So, but what's Bruce representing? He's not going to win. Come on. No, he's not going to win because
you're going
it's
to go
a
up against
Democratic
Pelosi.
stronghold.
Yeah. So why is he doing it?
I think it's to create a statement.
Okay.
Number one, to show that it's possible. So San Francisco and that district, congressional district, is an open primary. So it's not the top Republican against the top Democrat.
Okay.
It's whoever takes the number one and number two spot get to go against each other.
Yeah.
So he beat something like 6 or 7 Democrats in order to become the Republican candidate against Nancy Pelosi, which is fascinating.
Right.
And he ran on 2 simple things. Don't indoctrinate our children with a lot of these ideologies, and like, we need to protect our streets.
Yeah.
It's actually basic stuff. I don't know why more people don't vote for that, because that's actually what people care about most. Even coming to LA, going to San Francisco, even talking to Uber drivers. I love taking Ubers when I go to the city because it gives me an opportunity to hear what people are actually thinking about, talking about.
Ear in the streets type of thing.
Yeah, they hear everything.
Yeah.
And every single Uber driver, I asked them, like, what's the biggest concern here? Everyone says homelessness.
Homeless, right? Meth heads on the street.
That's what everyone cares about.
Yeah.
And the side that everyone keeps on voting for literally encourages it.
Right.
You can't even call them homelessness anymore. What was the term? It was called...
No. It's unhoused.
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 People.
Yes, unhoused.
You gotta call them unhoused people. That's so crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to call them, you have to refer to them as people experiencing homelessness.
Well, it used to be called bums, right? Then you can't say bums.
Well, canceled.
Yeah, I know.
Turn this off.
And then they became homeless, and that was actually politically correct because it used to be bums and a homeless, right? And then now they just flipped the words around from homeless to unhoused.
Yes.
Right? And then now that's the politically correct term.
Correct.
I bet you in 5 years from now, you won't be able to say unhoused anymore because you know what? Being homeless, there's a negative connotation to it. And you can't say you can't call anyone with a negative connotation any word anymore.